Morning, everyone. Yesterday evening, I did a little video to show you how I foiled four pieces on this new paper I got. What happened is I saw it on the marketplace. It was loads and loads of about 10 packs of Xerox. Let's see, I've got one here I can show you. 10 packs of Xerox 300 GSM. Let's turn it around properly. 300 GSM, there's 125 sheets, and I had three packs of them, and then 280 GSM, which is better for my printer, it goes in easier, and it's all laser color copier paper, so it's brilliant for laser printing, and it's also very smooth. And I thought, well, I'm going to try it with my foiling designs. And you know what? Look at the results. Now, last night when I did that, it was a little bit dark, so I couldn't show you the actual design, but look at it now. That turned out absolutely gorgeous. You see it? Really turned out beautiful. I mean, in real life, it's a lot more beautiful than you're seeing on camera. And then the next step I did, I showed you in that video how I colored some, uh, printed off some laser color, and they were four different colors. One of them didn't work, but you can see the designs are different, slightly different color. So what I did, I printed green, three shades, four shades of green, and then afterwards I used the waste on top of it. And with the lighter color, look, it looks a lot nicer. So with where I use the lighter color, it came quite nice. Even this one came, these came nice as well. I mean, you could see the tone on tone, and they worked absolutely gorgeously. So now, what's the next step? I'm ending up with loads and loads of pieces, and I don't really know what I'm going to do with them as yet. So what I've decided to do is have a play and see what I can come up with using these to make a little card. Now I tend to go for the 5x7, or I tend to go for the, I think these are about 5x5. Let's see. Well, actually, this is 5.5 by, I think, 5.5. Yeah. So square cards or little cards like that. And the reason I like 8x8 and A5 cards for card making. However, I've got a lot of smaller cards, and what I use them for, I've said many a times, I use them so if I'm doing I'll do a card, and then I'll put something like thanks on it, keep it in my handbag, and I do give a lot of these out. And when you see people really appreciate and they got a card for whatever it is that they did, it is something I enjoy doing. Now, just at the moment, sizing out what I have and seeing what I can actually come up with. That would be a very simple card. Now, I don't like them like that. Let me see if I switch this light off, whether you can see it better. It's now morning. And I think you can see better what I'm trying to show you. And even the design, look, it looks a lot better because it's the shine from the window now rather than the light from above. So I'm going to leave the light as it is. And can you see how beautiful they turned out? I'm really pleased I bought these dies actually, these plates. They work perfectly. So the first thing I'm going to do is try to trim them down. Now, before I even trim them, you know what? I might see if I'm going to cut them die cutting. Because if I trim them, I might come to die cut them, and then I'll find, you know what? I can't do it anymore now because I've trimmed them too small. So let's have a look. I've got a square card. I might want to use one of these square. I think these were tattered lace. They're just normal dies. Tattered lace, I believe. But I'm sorry if I can't properly remember, because you know what? It's I had them a long time. Now I want the biggest I can get, so I'm gonna go for that one. But as you can see, it's missing a bit on the side. But don't worry and say, oh, they're narrow, I can't use them, or I need to find some other time. No, because what you can do is very simple. I'm going to show you. I'm going to place that on my die cutting machine. So I'm looking for my plate and everything. So let's do this. Get that in. Now we need the plates. At the moment, having done last night's video, I've got so many things on my desk. It's unbelievable. I can't see where my plates have gone to. Usually they are somewhere. Here they are. They're in place. I hasten to add them where they should have been. So what I'm going to do is place that there, get as much as I can from one end of the design, do it as straight as I can, and I'm going to cut it. And it does not matter, because you see what I'll do with it afterwards. I'm just going to cut that. Now, as you've seen, people would have said, oh, I can't do that because it doesn't fit. It's too narrow. The paper was too narrow. The plate might have been too narrow. That's why I did narrow there. But what I'm going to do, after having cut it, now this is truly waste, so I'm going to get rid of this. I don't need it. Now this one, I have two options. I can either place it on the side like so, so the straight line goes on the straight and narrow there, or I can turn it round like so, have it in the middle, but instead of that edge, I can select one of my edges, edgeabilities, and do an edge, something like so. And by doing that, it will give me a sense of design as well. So what I'm going to do is get a piece of my press and seal type of thing to try to keep my die exactly where I want it. I'm going to place it there, and I'm going to cut it again. Now remember, if something goes wrong, it goes wrong. Firstly, you can still cut a bit and do something with it. But secondly, if it goes, it's only a piece of foiled scrap card. Well, it wasn't scrap because I cut it from an A4 sheet. It wasn't scrap paper card, but it's only a piece of self-foiled material. So I'm not going to lose anything by doing that. As you can see, I've got the stitching there. Looks quite interesting. And what I'm going to do with it is that it's going to go somewhere onto my card like so. For now, that'll do. Now, what am I going to do underneath? Now, I can just see on my scrap piece. Oh, this is a little bit... I'm going to see, look, that's a little bit bigger there, right? So, again, if I had a piece that goes like so, okay, that's going to give it the edge. You can see exactly where the edge is. So, what I'm going to do with this one, I'm just thinking I could put foil. thanks there or thank you or whatever. But I'm going to do it like so. And what I'm going to do is mark a little bit of where I would like to then cut it. Now, if I'm leaving that much, it needs to be cut somewhere there. Now, I always do it a little bit less. So I cut a little bit inwards of it. So it does not affect, the pen will be on the bit I cut out, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to do that. And I'll cut it just about there. That's going to go on here. That is going to go on there. And you see, there's less. So if I did it a little bit more like so, and cut a little bit more off, you know what? It will be like a square. Let's see what square. I need this much. So if I measure it, it's exactly 5 inch. If I do 5 inch there, actually I already cut on that side, so let's cut on the other. But I think, let's have a look. My card was a little bit more than 5 inch. There it was there. Let's have a look. Yeah, it was a little bit, this 5¼ The reason for it is I think my card is not completely square. So I did it like so. You can always cut a bit more, but if you cut too much, you can't come back to it. So that's going to go on there. That gives me a nice border all the way around. Let's see it this way. No, it's that way. It has to go that way. That's going to give me a nice border all the way around. However, I can see that I've got a little bit off somewhere. Let's have a quick look. That looks all right. That looks all right. It's only a tiny bit, but you know what? I'm so used to calculating by eye that I could see there was just a smidgen extra to what I wanted. That's going to go there, that way. It's strange that these cards were not actually square. I might cut it square, it would be much easier. But anyway, that's going to go there. Now, this one, I can either have it there, or you know what, I've just thought of it. How about that way? Now, let's go that way now. That can go there. And then I can have something like thanks, but I would not do it in foiled card because it will be a little bit, I think, too much of foiling there. Okay. So what I'm going to do, let's have a look. I've got a piece of card here that needs a tiny bit of edge cutting. And that's it. It's just got a little bit, when it was cut, I think I might have cut this, my scan and cut. Now let's see, if I place that there, I'll have that there and place this on there. And then have something like thanks on it. I'm not sure yet. I'm halfway there, but this shows you that when you are doing things and you are inventing how you're going to put it together, unless you did one, a lot of YouTubers, let's call people YouTubers, a lot of people that do videos, what they do, they first make a card on their own, quietly, and come up with a design. Then they'll show it to you and tell you how they did it. But I like you to see how I sit here, look at what's available for me, and try to make something with it. Why? Because if you are on your own, if you don't have the materials someone is showing you on YouTube, you're going to want to know how to do with what you have. What I try to show you is how I decide what goes where and how. So I'm going to take that. I've got a die which says happy, I was going to say happy birthday, but for these cards, I don't tend to do many happy birthdays because I like to give happy birthdays bigger dies. Okay, so I'm going to have a quick look. These are the foils I was left with yesterday, and I'm ready to use with like foiling happy birthday and things like that for any other cards. I don't waste any of these because they can be very useful as well. So what I'm looking for is I've got a thank you, but it's not a foiling thank you, it's actually a cutout thank you. That's what I'm looking for. I was hoping it's still in here. If not, I'm going to have to foil one. Yeah, I've got a big, nice thank you. That would look nice. You know what? Let's quickly do one. What I'm going to do, while the machine is warming up, because I need to warm it up, I'm going to pause this video. I'll be back with you in just a few minutes' time. But for you, it will just continue as normal. Right, so now I've got my machine all set. I've put the plate on, put the foil on it, put a piece of card, and that's now warming nicely. I'm waiting for that to warm up. In the meantime, I'm going to just get my glue and start putting this card together. So as I say, it's going to be a simple card, and cards don't have to be really complicated. Now, I've done, and I love making complex card with things like tattered lace, highlight craft dies, carnation craft. So we do a lot. I mean, even in lessons, we do a lot because a lot of my ladies have all the dies and USBs that come out. But on the other hand, okay, an easy, simple card, especially if you're going to give it to someone you don't really know. You're going to meet someone. They do something useful for you. You're going to say thank you by giving them a card saying, all right, I've made this, and I think you deserve it for being so helpful. Thank you. That sort of thing I'm talking about. And for that, you don't really need to have anything too complex, and you're going to give it to someone you may never see again, but you know what, that person, they might be so happy you gave them that they'll keep it forever. Who knows? So what I'm going to do, while that's warming up, I'm going to put these on some double-sided foam pads. Why? Because I feel that double-sided foam pads will alleviate it a little, and that will give it that little bit extra than just being stuck one on top of the other. I'm going to take this off. Now, the reason I'm not doing it this way is because the pattern was the other way around. So I thought now I'll do it sideways, okay? So I'm going to go through here. Let me see if I can show you more of what I am doing. That's it. There it goes. So that, I took all my pieces off, and I'm going to place it somewhere, leaving the same kind of border on those three edges in the same way. Now, I just had another little idea while we're waiting. I've got these. Now, don't use them that often, but you know what? I always say, if you're going to do something, if you've got something, try make use of it, okay? So I'm going to get a piece of white card from any white pieces I had left from a project I did yesterday. So I'm going to cut that, the size there. Look, that's a piece of scrap. I don't throw them away because I know they could come in handy. And I'm going to cut all these, and they'll give me the shape of buttons. So let's quickly go with this and cut them out. Let's hope it cuts it in one. If not, I'll fast again. So that's going through. I've just put this machine on, so unfortunately my glimmer, the first time round, it takes a little bit to warm up, but it's warming up nicely. So I'll soon get a green light going, and when that light comes on, all I need to do then is wait a minute. There goes, look, the light came on, so I'm going to just press my button, and in a minute's time, that will be ready. But in the meantime, you don't have to wait for it. Now, that didn't cut perfect, so I'm going to place it back. Ooh, I just moved it as well. I've just about moved it. But look, if you do that, it fits back right in place. So I'm not going to give up on it. I'm going to do it there. I'm going to get one of my magazines I leave to put into. These are yellow. These are shiny magazines, okay? So instead of throwing them away, I tend to use them just for this purpose, to cut into them. And they do help a lot. So I'm going to do that. And then by then, my machine should be ready for me to foil the thanks. So I'm going to go through. Now I can feel it cutting it through. And I'm hoping it did cut it all through. At least 3 buttons or so I need in my head. That, oh yes, they've come off nicely. So let's get them off. I've got all these, and I just need 3 of the same size. So I'm going to take 1, 2, and 3. They're all the same size. Okay, they're different, but all the same size. I might find 3 slightly smaller. Let's see, that one, and maybe that one. And I'm going to place them. We'll use some of the others later. I'm going to place them on my card in a minute. Now, this is ready. So I'm going to take it out slowly, gently. Take off my plate. And I'm going to pass this through. Now, this is my glimmer machine. It does not usually ask for any shims. Doesn't feel any friction, much friction there. So I'm going to give it. And it's a big die that takes a whole lot of... let me do it with this. Let's see whether this goes through. It's a big die, so I need it to be overfoiled. I need it to stick to it. So I'm going to do it with some shim there. Okay, that's the shim I could find. Let's hope that that was good enough. Now I'm going to move it. I'm going to take this off. And you can see it looks like it has foiled it nicely. We'll see in a minute. Let's leave it there for a second. This, don't know whether I'm going to do another one yet. So I'm just going to leave it out a little so that it will be on, but it won't be too hot. So what am I going to do? Let's see what size I'm going to use. 1, 2, 3. Or I could do them down here. 1, 2, 3. And I like them there. You know what? I've got little small double-sided foam pads, and they're handy for small items like this. So I'm going to place one there. I'm going to take the holes out, I think. I didn't take the middle one. I can still take it off if I wanted to. But then it's going to show underneath, it's going to show the button, so I'm going to leave it there. Now that one, again, I'm going to leave them because if I take those 3 holes out, it's still not going to show the gray because there's the foam pad. So I'd rather have the button bits rather than the foam pad. That would be number 2. And I'm going to do the third one. And again, I'm going to leave every bit in it because it will be covered by the foam pad. And I'm going to do it number 3 there. So those are my 3 buttons there. Now I'm ready with my thank you. So what I'm going to do is firstly see how it went. I'm going to take it off nicely and hope it went quite well. Oh no, it overfoiled, but yes, it has overfoiled. So I'm going to have to do it again, and I might do it on the other side. So let's do it again. Doesn't matter, it's just a piece of foil that's been wasted there. Let's put that in. Put my foil on top. I'm going to put this like so. So when I do it now, I'm not going to put a shim because I think that's why it's overfoiled. I did a thick shim and it's overfoiled. So I'm going to not do that mistake again. And then I'll cut it. I've got the edge for it. So that's a plate and a die. Cut it, and then that's going to come on here or up here, or I'll see where it fits best. And I'll have thank you on there. And that would be a really nice, easy, but very effective little card. So let's have it done and see whether I can finish that one off. And then I'll put them at the front of the video so you know what we will be creating. Should have left that in. Let's get our machine ready in the meantime, like so. We still need to give it a minute. There it goes. So it takes a minute on there. But once that's done, I then cut it and we will be done. That would be my first card from what I've done yesterday evening. If anyone has any questions, I'm not going to say I will know all the answers, but if somebody would like me to either try something or whether I know of anything that could be done for whatever reason, if you've got questions about foiling, I do all sorts. So I do foiling, craft artist, scan and cut. I do lessons in them as well. I started doing affinity, but affinity is, I'm not using it for designers like you see on many YouTubes. I use affinity for card makers. So what I do with it is mainly for card makers. Okay, so that brings me on an idea of what one of my soon-to-be lessons is going to be about. Just remembered what I had to show them later. I've got a lesson, and that came up quite easily actually. So let's have a look and see what happened to this one without the shim. So I didn't put a shim on. It looks like it has done something, but I don't know whether it did it good enough. So let's have a look. Now I've got a tiny bit of underfoiling this time, but much better than the previous one. So what I'm going to do with that one, very simple. I'm going to place this one on there. And I'm going to get it cut, and then we'll put it. Now, if it was a card I was making, selling it, whatever, that would not have probably worked with me. Would have said, oh, can't do that now. It's got a little bit of underfoiling. But I'm giving, and the overfoiling, I've got something coming tomorrow. I've got a um, couture creations. It's like a rubber, which I see that many people use it for taking off the overfoiling. So what I thought of doing is actually use it for my lost my plate. Use it for cleaning something like that. Where it's underfold, I'll get a green color from my Pro Markers, match one that matches as closely as possible, and I'll just go over it. Or another thing you could do is just put a bit of glue with a glue pen, and where it's under foil, leave it to dry and then pass some foil on it again, and it will sort that out. As for the video, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to place that on there, and that will be my thank you card for someone else who would be getting this, someone I don't know. So on the inside, I tend to, some of them I'll put a message like, thank you for the job you're doing. That's when I'm going to hospital, for instance, or thank you for being there, whatever. And it will go to someone who works at the hospital or something like that. I could do it at the side as an angle as well. I think I like it at an angle. So I'll give it to somebody like that. Okay? Or leave them empty. And then if I'm at a restaurant and want to give them a card because they did exceptional service or something like that, what I tend to do is take a pen out, write a note saying their name, if I know their name from their tag, and I say, for instance, uh, Susan, thank you for doing such a great job. And that will be that. Sometimes I'll have some of these. If somebody gives me a lift, I'll just say thank you to them with their name, and that will be a little card that can go to someone again. And it's a foiled card, mainly foiled. But anyway, I hope you liked that video. I'm going to stop there. I might come doing another one, but if I stop it there, it will not be too boring for anybody because it takes hours watching. All right, it will be one. We made it, and I hope you like. Thank you. If you like it, please leave a thumbs up, and do remember to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I will try to make more videos for you as I go along. Thank you for watching, and bye for now. Have a good day.